I caught my husband using my day-to-day wipes.
Sorry, honey. I used the last one.
He sincerely didn't understand why I was surprised, and I didn't know what was going on.
It's just hygiene, sweetheart. I want to smell nice all the time, just like you do.
Bob worked hard his entire life and never had enough time for sports or self-care. But lately, not only did he start going to the gym, he also went for a manicure, consulted a beautician, and used my wipes. Like a lightning bolt, I was struck by a childhood memory when my dad suddenly started taking care of himself right before he left my mom for his mistress. Would the same fate await me? No, I was not just going to stand there and watch my husband leave me for another woman. I decided to save our family. For the sake of my son, for the sake of all of us. I opted for a straightforward approach. Bob, do you have a mistress?
What? No! You are the only one for me.
My father also denied everything at first, and my mother believed him. But I had gotten used to believing my own eyes. So I decided to watch my husband. It didn't take Bob too long to make a mistake. My husband went to work on a Saturday. He could have come up with a more interesting excuse.
Honey, I'm sorry. I got a lot of projects at hand.
Well, sure. Did he expect me to believe that? As soon as Bob went around the corner, I ran after him. However, I was surprised. He was actually going to work. So he wasn't lying to me. Did I jump to conclusions by thinking he had a mistress? All of a sudden, Bob drove past his office. And stopped by some big house. That place seemed familiar to me, but I didn't have time to think about it. The goal was to spy on my husband. Bob confidently walked inside, and I decided to wait in a car for a bit before catching that cheater red-handed. My efforts were not in vain. Two young girls entered the house right after my husband. Wow, Bob, two at once? That is too much. If you cheat on me, I'll sue you for everything you own. The door was open, so I had no trouble getting in. What I saw amazed me. There was a bunch of students inside. Did my Bob find himself an 18-year-old girlfriend? That would explain why he would try to look younger. Anger and resentment made me open all the doors, one by one, until I heard my husband's voice at the end of the hallway. The door was not fully closed, and I looked inside. Instead of a mistress, it was our son Chuck. That's right. That house belonged to our son's brotherhood. But what was Bob doing there?
I just want to spend time with you, son.
Dad, I'm not 6 anymore. You didn't have time for me when I was a child, and now I don't need your attention. Sorry.
At first, I was surprised. What was that loving father act? But then, I realized that when my parents were getting a divorce, each one tried to win me in every possible way. My husband was doing the same thing to our son. Thankfully, Chuck was not a child anymore and understood everything. I went outside, determined to call my lawyer. At that exact moment, Bob called me.
Julie, I'll be home by 9. don't plan anything, we have to talk about something important.
There was no doubt. He was going to tell me about his mistress. But why would he take so long? There were still 3 hours until 9. What was my almost ex planning on doing? I kept following my husband and we ended up at a lingerie store. So, it seemed like he decided to get his new girlfriend a gift. And there she was. Well, Bob, I was willing to fight for our family. But after you tried to manipulate our son, the divorce process won't be easy for you. When my husband returned home, his suitcases were already waiting for him at the door. I didn't want to stand there and listen to his excuses. What I saw was enough for me. I have photos. I'll see you in court. Much to my surprise, Bob just laughed.
Honey, this underwear is for you. The girl in those photos is the sales assistant.
I still refused to believe that he didn't have a mistress. After all, people don't change so much without a reason. And Bob did give me a reason. As it turned out, he was laid off. It hit him hard because he loved his job so much that he always devoted more time to it than to his family.
I deprived you and our son of attention for the past 20 years over a promotion. But when I got too old, they found a replacement for me.
Bob felt bad for having his priorities all wrong. He decided to catch up by taking care of himself and trying to bond with our son. He had hopes to bringing more passion into our marriage.
Looks like I went a little overboard with it.
I comforted my husband and felt glad that there wasn't a mistress. I knew that my husband would easily find a new job, but he definitely wouldn't devote more time to it than to us ever again. Work hard, but make time for your family and friends. Nobody remembers PowerPoint presentations on your final day.